Hello, listener, and welcome to Book 2, Chapter 13 of Bite-Sized Tales, the audio flash fiction podcast. In today's story, the main character goes through the process of a difficult decision that they have made for themselves. A content warning. This story contains themes of end of life and suicide. Listener discretion is advised. The Terms. Written and read by Chris Hussey. I put the finishing edits on what will be called my manifesto. I hate that term because all that means is that the author is crazy. I'm not crazy. What I'm doing is being done with absolute sound mind and body. Well, sound body anyway. My mind is still fairly sound. Sound enough to think of and engage in what I'm about to do, though no doubt others would disagree. I mean, I guess you could call this a manifesto. It does outline everything I think is wrong with our healthcare system and why I've reached the decision I have. I attach the file to the bulk email that is going out to all my local media, state and federal representatives, or will be going out in about 72 hours. If I'm being honest with myself, I don't think this will have any effect. No change will come from it. But yet, life is hope, as much as it is suffering. And so I hit the scheduled send command. Right after that goes a second email. This one is to family. In addition to the standard and truthful words of love and affection, it contains all the passwords and other info they'll eventually need to sort everything out. Schedule, send. I take one last walk around the house. In addition to admiring all the family history photos and other mementos, I go through the routine of making sure all the utilities are set and running right. That's the last thing they'll want to worry about. I grab my thermos full of coffee and lunch bag as my ride arrives. The part of me that hates this idea, that I'm betraying my family by leaving in this way, begins screaming at me once again. It tells me what a horrible, selfish, and cowardly idea this is, compounded by the fact that they all are currently gone from the house, thinking that I would stay here and not do the very thing I mentioned doing time and again whenever the topic of this came up. It pleads with me to reconsider, to fight the fight, endure the astronomical cost for substandard care, allowing me and them just that many more moments together before I completely lose my memory or recollection of them. And while I do waver, slightly, as I walk out to the ride, that voice is ultimately put down by the calm refrains of another part of me reminding me whose life this is, and my mantra of never wanting to be a burden. Even in doing so, that part is well aware of the counter-arguments and even the hypocrisy of my admittedly milquetoast pro-life stance. But the decision has been made. It's a difficult conversation, one where there are no winners, and no one leaves happy. But then again, death isn't always a happy thing. I settle in the car, and the driver confirms my destination. And then I blank. Suddenly, I can't remember. Is that where I wanted to go? Wait, why did I even get in this car? No. Stop. I'm aware enough to know that something isn't right. I take a moment, breathe, then remember to look at my arm. There they are. All the steps in order. Emails, coffee and lunch bag, ride outside, driver's note to give after you're dropped off, national park. I respond with an affirmative to the driver, and we are shortly on our way. I couldn't have asked for a better day. Partly cloudy and the sky seeming that strange, extra intense blue it sometimes has. The driver and I make small talk on the way, none of which I can remember. I feel bad for him. In a couple of days, his life will experience upheaval as the search begins for me. Police will ask, My family will force anger his way. He'll likely feel guilt over the knowledge that he drove me to the place where I disappeared. That's why I leave the note carefully wedged between the seat and his headrest. He'll find it soon enough, and when he does, hopefully it will absolve his own internal punishment. Hopefully. Again, like I said, this isn't always a happy thing. I wave goodbye and make my way through the park. The trail up the mountainside is well-liked and well-traveled and busy today. I smile and make eye contact as the sun shines down, warming my face. Everyone looks so happy. I let my own happiness wash over me as I soak in the mountain's energy. It's a feeling that can't be put into words. It's just energy, and it fills my soul and puts me at peace. I only wished it were snowing. That would have been truly perfect, and would have made the last part of this easier. But I knew if I waited for winter, it would be too late. My plans would never have come to fruition, and I'd be resigned to living the rest of my life on someone else's terms. Then I blank again. I lose all frame of reference as to where I am, why I am where I find myself, and what I was doing. I look around. The woods and the scenic hillside are pretty. I can see the mountainside where the trail I'm on leads up to. Looking at myself, I'm dressed to hike. I have a coffee thermos and a small lunch bag. I look inside and smile at the contents. That'll be quite tasty. The words on my arm don't help, only to tell me that I must be in a national park. I watch people walk by as I keep looking around, trying to figure out what I was to be doing. I wait, and wait, and wait some more. Then something swims to the surface inside my mind, something breaking through the deep fogginess. It speaks calmly, telling me exactly why I'm here and where I need to go. A wave of relief washes over me at the return of this knowledge. It also adds strength to the part of me that came up with this idea and worked hard to make it happen. But because I'm not a soulless bastard, the rest of me feels the weight of sadness and finality of it all. It knows my mind, or what is left of it, can't be changed, so it carries on as I continue walking. I find the point of the trail where I know I was meant to leave it. Making sure no one is around, I break from the trail and begin my trek through the woods. I've made this walk before, long before I knew I would have this condition. And I wasn't alone in that trek. We walked together, exploring the area around the mountain in an effort to find our spot. 45 minutes later, I'm there. I break from the woods' edge and find myself on the side of the mountain. The view is breathtaking. The sun is at the perfect height in the sky, and like the mountain before it, my soul is renewed and my face is warmed. Trekking a good half mile, I finally come upon our spot, a stony outcropping. It's the perfect spot, flat enough to sit comfortably while dangling your legs over the edge. Or, if the sun was too hot, you could scoot back and rest your back against the wall of this stone giant, while another, smaller outcropping provides the perfect amount of shade. Most importantly, it juts out over a portion of the mountain where the drop-off is easily 100 feet, if not more. I remember the time we snuck here and camped overnight, sleeping out under the stars. It is one of my fondest and favorite memories, and one I'm happy to still possess as I undertake this final mission. Choosing to sit in the sun, I open my lunch bag. I remove the collapsible cup, expanding it, and then unscrewing the thermos top. The coffee, still steaming, fills the cup and the aroma meanders up into my nostrils. It is warm and comforting. After savoring it, I remove the bag's other pieces, a small plastic container and fork. Container opened, it reveals the oversized piece of apple pie inside. Deliberately and with a beautiful and final purpose, I take my time eating the delicious pastry and drinking the absolutely perfect complimentary coffee. As final meals go, I couldn't have asked for better. Each piece is smooth, with a soft, What's the right word? Crunch? Give? Surrender? I chuckle as I'm not sure how to describe the bite of the apple. The coffee is rich and just the right temperature for the first few bites before it starts to cool. With each bite, I take time to enjoy the view. The forested mountainside, the valley below, the river snaking toward the horizon, the way the colors of it all fill my eyes. At this height and location, the chaos of the city cannot be heard. Only the loving and welcoming embrace of nature. Wind, birds, the creak of a tree limb, and the occasional tumbling rock. All of these sensations wash over, in, and through me. The opening movement to my final symphony. I finish the pie and coffee, lean back on the rock, my elbows holding me up. The sun is directly in my eyes. That warm pain when it's so bright you have to close your eyes and just soak up the orange, yellow, and red of the heat coming through you. I take that time to replay all the images and memories of my life. I don't care how long it takes. I work my way through the years. All the happiness, sadness, joy, pain, success, and regrets. No, not regrets. Missed opportunities. Or at least that's what I always told myself to call them. The last thought I have is this plan. The specter of doubt rises once more. I consider it while a cloud moves in front of the sun, allowing me to open my eyes. Everything is bathed in blue until they adjust. Smiling, I rise and move to the ledge's edge. My decision. My terms. Author's note. I'm not going to lie and say this was an easy story to write. It wasn't. I have actually mixed feelings about actually publishing the story. I went back and forth about it, finally deciding to do so. I wanted to make sure I gave this particular topic the weight it deserved, the respect it deserves, and though difficult, I still think it was a worthwhile story to write. Because at the core of it, I believe, whether you're writing or you're reading, at some point you need to be challenged. Not every time, but at some point you do. This story challenged me in a certain way. And I appreciate and respect the story for doing so. If you did listen all the way through, thank you. And if you didn't, you're not going to hear this, but thank you also for not. This chapter of Bite-Sized Tales has been brought to you under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License. Intro and outro music is Fantasy Motion by Alexander Nakarada, provided under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today, we greatly appreciate reviews and recommendations to your friends. For more information about our authors, please visit bitesizedtales.com. We look forward to reading to you next time.